Hi, I'm Brian with the Ensemble Edge Cloud team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to launch a connector server using Ensemble's Zero Touch Provisioning, or ZTP, so that you can do it yourself. Let's get started. There are two things you need to do before starting your launch. First, you want to create a connector in Ensemble Mano. Assuming you are running an eval that we set up, you will already have the login credentials to access Ensemble's cloud-hosted Mano. And if you haven't already done this, watch our video, Create Connectors, to see how. Next, you need to install the connector image on your server. Again, if you are working with our eval, you will have the proper image. If you have not already installed connector in your server, watch our video, Install Connectors. It gives you everything you need to do it. When you finish these steps, you are ready to launch with ZTP. So power up the server and connect the two ports shown. The initial configuration in your image defines what ports to use for internet and splash screen. In my case, it was port 0.1 for internet and port 0.4 for the splash screen. Just one more tip before we start. This figure shows two laptops. If you're like me and using one laptop, make sure that you only have one Ethernet interface at a time connected to your laptop, so you know what is driving your browser. Now, with everything connected, let's look at the connector splash screen. This is the connector splash screen. The green status icon in the upper right confirms that we have network connectivity. The only thing we need to do now is enter the unique identifier. There are options under the Configuration tab if you want to change some things, like using static IP instead of DHCP, but for now, just know that they are there. Also, if you don't like having a person enter the unique code, that's not a problem. Connector can also authenticate by reading and using the server serial number as the unique code. In that case, the person installing doesn't need to interact with the splash screen at all. But in this demo, we are entering the code on the splash screen. We enter the code and begin the activation. Progress through ZTP will be shown on the connector splash screen. The first step is connecting to the network. In that stage, connector builds an IPsec tunnel to the front end of the Ensemble Mano. Security assurance at this level include certificates and pre-shared keys, or EAP radius. In the second stage, connector is authenticating and registering with the Ensemble directory. This stage authenticates using the UID and certificates. The third stage is where Ensemble Director applies parts of the day one configuration for connector and launches the cloud on connector. In the fourth stage, Ensemble Director launches the virtual services on the connector cloud. We will be watching the ZTP progression from the connector splash screen. This progress is also visible on the Ensemble Director screen, and we will go to that after we see the ZTP process completes. When ZTP is done, the connector splash screen looks like this, and all our stages passed. Now when we finish activation, that server port we were using for a splash screen becomes available for in-service use if we like. This ZTP example took a total time of about 26 minutes. Many factors can affect the time it takes to ZTP, like VNF image sizes, downlink bandwidth, CPU performance, and use of pre-cached images. But somewhere in this range is to be expected. In our next video, we're going to log back into Ensemble Mano to verify the virtual services we just launched.